The year is 1972. Nixon is president. Gas costs 36 cents a gallon, and on Chevrolet dealer lots across America sits a pickup truck that would not only define an era, but would eventually become one of the most beloved and sought-after classic trucks of all time, the 1972 Chevrolet C10. This wasn't just any pickup. The 72 C10 represented the pinnacle of Chevy's second-generation CK series trucks, combining rugged utility with surprising comfort and style. Today, we're going to explore why these trucks command premium prices at auctions, why you see them at every car show, and why they've become the darling of the classic truck world. The story of the 72 C10 actually begins back in 1967, when Chevrolet introduced its completely redesigned pickup truck line. These second-generation CK trucks, nicknamed the Action Line series, represented a dramatic shift in pickup truck philosophy. No longer were trucks purely utilitarian work vehicles. They were becoming lifestyle vehicles that people actually enjoyed driving beyond just hauling and towing. By 1972, Chevrolet had refined this design to near perfection. The 72 model featured a clean, elegant design that has aged remarkably well. The front end showcased a bold egg crate grille flanked by single headlights, with simple but distinctive body lines running the length of the vehicle. Chrome bumpers, minimal trim, and perfectly proportioned wheel openings gave the truck a timeless aesthetic that still looks fresh today. What made the C10 designation special was its configuration. C meant it was two-wheel drive, and 10 indicated the half-ton payload rating. Four-wheel drive versions carried the K10 designation. The C10 came in several body styles, including the popular fleet side, with smooth sides, and the less common step side, with steps behind the cab and separate rear fenders. Wheelbase options included 115 inches for the short bed and 127 inches for the long bed models. Under the hood, the 1972 C10 offered an impressive range of engines. The base power plant was a 250 cubic inch inline six producing 110 horsepower, adequate but not exciting. Most buyers opted for V8 power, with choices including the 307 V8 175 horsepower, 350 V8 175 horsepower, and for those wanting serious muscle, the 402 V8 240 horsepower that Chevy somewhat deceptively marketed as a 400. These engines were paired with either a 3-speed manual, 4-speed manual, or turbo-hydromatic automatic transmission. One of the most revolutionary aspects of these trucks was their suspension design. Unlike previous generations that used leaf springs at all four corners, the second-gen C10s featured an independent front suspension with coil springs and a trailing arm rear suspension, also utilizing coil springs rather than traditional leaf springs. This setup, which Chevy called Control Flex, provided a significantly smoother ride than other trucks of the era, earning these models the nickname the riding pickup. Inside the cab, the 1972 C10 was remarkably car-like for its time. The dashboard featured a horizontal speedometer with clear gauges, and controls were logically placed within easy reach. Higher trim levels like the Cheyenne and Cheyenne Super added wood grain accents, carpet instead of rubber flooring, and more comfortable seating. Air conditioning, power steering, and power brakes were available options that many trucks were equipped with, features that were still considered luxuries in the pickup world at the time. The Custom Deluxe was the base trim, offering a more utilitarian experience, while the Cheyenne packages progressively added more comfort and style features. The Cheyenne Super was the top of the line, featuring the best interior appointments, extra insulation for a quieter ride, and more extensive bright trim on the exterior. What many people don't realize is that 1972 represented the final year before significant changes would come to American vehicles. The 1973 models would feature bulkier, federally mandated 5-MEF bumpers and engines detuned to run on unleaded gasoline with lower compression ratios, resulting in reduced horsepower. This makes the 72 C10 something of a last hurrah for the high-compression, leaded gas era of American vehicles. Production numbers for the 1972 C10 were substantial, with Chevrolet manufacturing approximately 500,000 CK series trucks that year. of which a large portion were C10 models. Despite this relatively high production volume, finding unmolested examples today is increasingly difficult as many led hardworking lives. The pricing in 1972 for a new C10 started around $2,700 for a base model, with well-equipped Cheyenne Super variants pushing close to $4,000 with options. Today, pristine examples can easily command $30,000 to $60,000, with exceptionally preserved or expertly restored trucks sometimes exceeding $100,000 at specialty auctions. What's fascinating about the C10's legacy is how it has evolved over the decades. Through the 1970s and 80s, these were simply used trucks, often working on farms, construction sites, and as daily transportation. By the 1990s, they had become affordable used vehicles popular with high school students and those on tight budgets. But something interesting happened in the 2000s. Appreciation for their clean design and relative simplicity began to grow. Today, the 72 C10 has become the centerpiece of a massive restoration and customization culture. From frame-off restorations that return these trucks to factory-fresh condition, to wildly modified Pro Touring builds with modern LS engines, air suspension, and high-performance brakes, the C10 platform has proven remarkably versatile. The aftermarket support is staggering. You can literally build an entire 1972 C10 from newly manufactured parts without using a single original component. Companies like Classic Parts of America, LMC Truck, and dozens of specialists offer everything from replacement body panels to completely reimagined modern chassis designed to fit under the original bodywork. In motorsports, the C10 has found a surprising niche in autocross and road course racing through events like the Good Guys Rod and Custom Association's Autocross Series and the C10 Nationals. Some builders have pushed these trucks to perform on par with modern sports cars while maintaining their classic looks. Famous 1972 C10 owners have included country music stars, professional athletes, and numerous celebrities who appreciate their combination of classic style and everyday usability. NASCAR legend Dale Earnhardt Jr. has owned several, and singer Jason Aldean featured a 72 C10 in his music video for "Take a Little Ride." The truck has made numerous film and television appearances over the decades. Eagle-eyed viewers can spot C10s in countless movies and TV shows from the 70s through today, often chosen for their timeless design that can fit in multiple eras depending on their condition and modification. What makes the 1972 C10 special from a collector's perspective is its unique position at the crossroads of automotive history. It represents the last model year before emission controls and safety regulations significantly altered American vehicles. It's old enough to have classic status, but modern enough to be comfortably drivable in today's traffic. The design has a timeless quality that appeals to multiple generations. From baby boomers who remember them when new to younger enthusiasts discovering their clean lines for the first time. The cultural impact of these trucks extends beyond just the automotive world. They've become symbols of American workmanship, simplicity, and a certain bygone era when vehicles were more straightforward and serviceable by their owners. In a world of increasingly computerized, complex vehicles, the mechanical nature of the C10 appeals to those looking for a more direct connection to their transportation. For potential buyers or restorers, there are some important details to watch for. The 72 models are identified by their unique grille pattern and trim, with a clean horizontal bar design that differs from earlier years in the same generation. Rust is the biggest enemy, particularly in the cab corners, rocker panels, and bed floor. The good news is the tremendous aftermarket support makes even seriously deteriorated trucks salvageable, though the economics may not always make sense. Common modifications include disc brake conversions. Front discs were optional in 1972, but many trucks still had drums all around, power steering upgrades, and modern air conditioning systems. Engine swaps are extremely popular, with Chevrolet's modern LS Series V8s being the most common replacement for worn-out original power plants. The driving experience of a stock 1972 C10 is a delightful throwback. The seating position is upright with excellent visibility through the expansive glass. The steering has more play than modern vehicles, and the brakes require more forethought. But the trucks are fundamentally sound and confidence-inspiring once you adjust to their vintage nature. The V8 engines, particularly the 350, provide ample torque and a wonderful soundtrack through their minimal exhaust systems. What continues to impress about these trucks decades later is their honest functionality. They were designed to work hard, yet they have enough style and comfort to be enjoyed as daily transportation. This dual-purpose nature is something many modern vehicles strive for, but few achieve with such straightforward excellence. As we look to the future, the 1972 C10's place in automotive history seems secure. While values have increased substantially over the past decade, they remain more affordable than many comparable classic cars from the same era. Their practicality means they can still perform useful truck duties while being cherished collectibles, something that can't be said for many classics. The 1972 Chevy C10 represents more than just a successful product from Chevrolet's past. It embodies a pivotal moment when trucks began their transformation from pure work vehicles to the lifestyle vehicles they are today. Its enduring popularity is testament to the rightness of its original design and its ability to remain relevant across generations and changing automotive trends. In a world where vehicles increasingly feel disposable or leased rather than owned, the C10 reminds us of a time when a truck could become a decades-long companion, working hard, providing reliable transportation, and eventually earning a special place in the garage as a cherished classic.